Hi there and welcome to Front-End Development 101. So in the previous video we left with a bit of a challenge for you to use your newfound front-end skills to create a hero section. And if you wanted to have a little bit of a crack at the next section down and create a bit of what I call a silo section, then that was obviously available too. You have all of the knowledge at this point to create that web page. Now, as we progress through this course, we will look at improved best practice web development and using one source of truth. But it's important to start wrestling with the different concepts, and so hopefully you've got something that you've put together there. Now, for those that would like to actually work through that a little bit and see how this is, see how we can actually create this, we're going to do that right now in this video. And of course, you can actually follow along with this if you want to, see something, monkey see, monkey do, and not calling you a monkey, imitate as you go along. And then, of course, you can have a crack at doing it with no tutorial to follow. Okay, so let's what we're going to do. I'm going to start a new project for this. So I think that HTML project. I don't even know if it's still going. I've messed around a little bit. There we go. Right. So since I've actually created this last video, Vue Studio has had a couple of changes and a few updates. So sometimes things might change in the interface. Currently, I am now not on the free version because I've been disabling my license so that I can use the free version and join you on this course. I think from now on, I will have to be using my own version without the disabling going on. So I might have, or I will have, features that you don't have in your free version. Of course, what I would actually suggest is that you do purchase Vue Studio now while it's still on a one payment lifetime deal. Vue Studio is the only page builder experience that you get on the desktop like this, and now we also have in creative mode the ability to click around in the interface, which is huge. We also have syntax styling in the creative mode panels. So it's an ongoing project, and if you want to keep getting features as they roll out, you need to grab yourself the pro version of it, just £49, $49.99 at this point. But check for current pricing. And at the time of making this video, it's a one-time purchase. So, nothing to lose there. Go along to vuestudio.com and follow the link on the homepage. Right. So we're going to do away with all of this. So I'm just going to delete all of that, all of those structure panels. I'm also going to pop to the global here, which has all of my styles. Okay, and I'm going to remove that because currently this is the selector style, and it gives more of a page builder type of bricks etch experience where you only see the CSS related to this item that you've selected. But we don't want that. I want to go to the global and delete that. So done. All right, clean slate, and that's an old version of the excuse me, of the styles there. And then the global CSS, I'm going to be showing you how to use that properly in an upcoming video where we look at variables and design tokens. So let's actually get a bit more practical here. And I've lost my glasses, so I'm going to do this half blind, and that's not a problem. Let's just remove the globals panel. Just keep it nice and clean. And we're going to use creative mode as we do this, or I am at least. You should not. You should be typing. So what we would like to do is create ourselves a section. Okay, so we've got a section and a div, and this div is going to take care of the width of our website. And what I would like to do there is, no, I won't. I'll remember where we are in our. Yeah, no, that's fine. I apologize. Right, so section, div, and let's do a central hero section at this point. Okay, so we're going to go into the div and then add a heading, and it should be an H1. and then we're going to place a paragraph in there as well. Okay, so right now I'm just taking care of the structure, and we can see that in the HTML there. I'll just increase my panel size. Let's go extra large for you. Okay, so we've got a section, a div, and a heading, and a paragraph. Okay, what else do we usually have in a hero section? Well, we would have 2 buttons. Okay, now if we think about that, the 2 buttons, if we want them side by side, we now understand that we want that to be a flex direction row. So we need a box, okay, another box. So we're going to take a div and place that there, and then we're going to need to use 2 links, not buttons, okay, because buttons are for function, such as opening a pop-up, submitting a form. That's what we should be using buttons for. When it comes to navigational links, we want to use an actual link, okay, so we want one of those, and we can duplicate that and say we'd like 2. Okay, so we've got the structure there. We need to ensure that the semantics are actually correct. In this case, I have now become enlightened once again in my web dev life, and I now understand more fully that this should actually be a header tag. Semantically, that should be a header. We will have a header or a header with navigation, but that should actually be a header. I don't know whether to stick to that at this point, but we will. Okay, cool, we will. All right, every day's a school day, even for me at this position that I have on this course. So header, div, h1, p tag there, another div to house, that will be a flexbox, and then we have the 2 A links. Now semantically, everything there is looking as it should. So happy enough. We've done the structure, we've done the semantics, okay, and now we have to do the selectors. We need to make sure that the selectors are on there. Now we're going to be using something called BEM. Now I would like to do a more dedicated lesson on this, but I'm going to explain it as I go at this point. BEM is where you create the classes, the selectors that we already understand we need, and you do that in a really structured way that indicates what it is part of. Okay, so in case that didn't make sense, let's actually start placing the classes on there. So I'm going to do a hero section. Okay, it's a header tag semantically, but I'm giving it the class of hero because it is the hero. So that's the name of the block. Okay, so block BEM, B, block. Okay, and I'm going to leave it at that. All right, so I would like that to be called hero. The next item, okay, is an element in this block. Okay, so I'm going to double click and create the selector, and this is going to be hero, so that's the block, double underscore, and now I'd like to put the name of the element. So the element here is I would usually call this inner. It's the inner wrapper or the inner container within the block. Okay, so that's the block, hero is the block, and then the item within it is hero, block, element is inner. Okay, now we don't need a modifier at this point, but this will start to make sense to you. Now if I double click this, and it's an H1 semantically, but the selector should be hero, the block, and then what element is this? Well, it's the heading. Okay, now if I'm going to have a block with multiple headings, I might not want it to just be called heading. You may want to be more specific and say it's H1. I don't think you should have a selector with numbers in it, actually, or not starting with it at least. But you know, you might have something like heading 1 or main heading. I'm just going to put heading. Okay. Now if I click on here, this is a paragraph. I'm going to click hero, and then what should this be? So we've got the block, and what element is this? Well, it's the paragraph. That would be kind of correct. To use some other terms, often this is the lead paragraph, so it's a bit more of a specific term. you might want to call it just text if that makes sense to you in this block. So you're going to have to decide what you'd like that to be. I will leave it like that. That's fine. Okay. Then we have a div. Now this might not feel so obvious what this is, but hero. This is a link wrapper as far as I would be concerned, or link container. I'm going to write link wrapper. Okay, so block and then element is link wrapper. And then we have the a link. All right, so semantically the tag is an a link, but if I double click on this, and I realize I'm being an idiot because I've just made a change in Feud Studio where this is now actually the name and I've not been adding the classes. So yeah, fine. Do you know what? I'm going to leave that. So this is a primary link. I'm going to do this because I wanted to display there anyway, but I will have to repeat. So hero, and this would be link primary or primary link, whatever we want there. I would probably go with link, and then maybe this would actually be a modifier. Oh yeah, would that be the case? I've never done that, but that might be what it is. I often actually change it like that, so link primary, and that would be the element that it is, so block element. And then if we click in here, link secondary. Okay, so we've got block and element. Now, just to consider how organized this looks, we have the block here, and then we have all of the different elements. And just from looking at the selectors, the names of the selectors, we know what to easily, and if this is written in a sheet, we know what this is about, what it's targeting, which is really, really important. Now, get this, that's a new feature where you are not changing the selector, but you're changing the name of the element. That was a feature request from some in the community, and I'm not used to that yet. So now I want to actually add the class. So this one is hero. If I click on this one, it's actually suggesting, Feud Studio is suggesting hero inner, so I'm going to apply that. If we click on this one, hero heading, yep. Hero text, it's applying that. Hero inner, that's incorrect, so I don't want to apply that. I want to put link wrapper and enter, and then hero link. I mean, that makes sense. It is just hero link. And do you know what? I am going to apply that because, as we've done previously, when something might share some stylings, then it should share a class, and I think that's not a bad idea. But I'm also going to add the actual block element class or selector, which is hero link primary and secondary. Okay, cool. So we now have the actual structure in place. We have the semantics all taken care of, and in addition to that, we have the selectors in place, and now we can actually start the styling, which is fine. We're finally there. Let's add a hero text or heading text. So become the piece you want to achieve, or something like that, because I have a yoga image which we will put in the background. So I'm making a hero for a yoga site. That's what we're doing here. So become the piece you want to achieve. One-to-one classes and group yoga events. One-to-one classes, one-to-one sessions. One-to-one sessions. And actually, I feel a bit bad doing it like this because you see, as we're using Feud Studio, this page builder environment, if we're just completely hand coding this, if we pop into deep code mode here, the way that we would actually do this if we were in VS Code is actually to be typing it in here in the code. So let's do that for a moment, okay? One-to-one sessions. I want this to be more real experience. One-to-one sessions. one-to-one sessions, group classes, and meditations to bring balance to your life. Okay, that's cool. Then we need to put text in for the primary buttons. Okay, so book now or book today. Yeah, book now is better. Find out more. Okay, so we're just going a bit cliche on this one. That's fine. So now we have the content in place, we can actually start styling. Let's open up the selector panel here, the styles panel. And first of all, we've got the hero. The hero section. Okay, so let's first of all put a background on this of white just so that we can see this. That's wonderful. And then if we pop to hero inner, just notice that as we added everything in the interface, Feud has put that in place, and it actually does it in alphabetical order, so I shouldn't really mess with it. It's fine if you do, but it's all in alphabetical order, which is good actually. So background, let's go gray just so that we can see. And what we have here is the container taking up all the space of the section within it, which is not a problem. But what we need to do is ensure that the container is being the correct width. And that might be defined by the hero's section padding. So let's take this section here. In the next few videos, we're going to have a look at setting globals and variables and design tokens, which will make this a lot simpler. But for now, let's put something together and understand how to do this. So we would like the block padding, so padding block to be for this point 2 rem. Okay, 2 rem, if you recall, is a measurement equivalent to that of pixels. So usually rem is 16 pixels, and it's better to use that because it can it's a more fluid and movable measurement. What do you call it? Unit. Padding inline. Okay, and just for this point here as well, we're going to go to rem. Okay, just at this point. Now let's pop to the hero inner. We would like the width to be 100%. Okay, and we would like the max width to be, what would our it'd probably be 1366 pixels. Let's take that out. So it looks like that was bang on actually. So if I go 1 rem, 1366 pixels, if I use this 13, okay, max width is 800. Okay, that's good. So we want to define the kind of the width of the content of the site, and let's say that that's 1200. Great. Okay. In that sense, we don't really need the padding in line, because what we're going to do is turn this into a flex box. Flex. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Display flex and flex direction column. Okay, and see if I get this right. Damn it. Always get it wrong. Align items center. Oh, that was the one, obviously, wasn't it? Okay, so now what we would do when we have variables and design tokens and global settings, we would have the inner container, the inner div within a section. We would have that using a constant variable, a constant value, and so that might be that somewhere we have defined the maximum width for the website to be something like 1140. I think that's a common one, I can't remember, or 1200. And you can see how that then, if every inner div in all the sections are that fixed width, according to one source of truth, then we can control the content width in all of our sections in one go. Right now, though, for this purpose, that's defined here explicitly. So 1200, I think, no, we'll go 1140. For some reason now, I can't remember the typical width, but that's fine. Right, cool. Let's add some padding into this section. So padding, and we're going to go to rem at this point. That's great. Now let's do something to the heading. Okay, we would like, or maybe we'd like it all to be central as well. So if we would like all of the content to be centered in this hero section, we would definitely want it to be a flex box. So we need to go to the hero inner and display flex. And if you recall, the default setting for flex is row, and we don't want that. So we would like flex direction to be column. Okay. Now, when you turn something into a flex box, you get the value of gap. And again, we're just going to use sort of set values at this point. So we're going to give it a gap of 2 rem, which would be equivalent to 32 pixels. So you should see that that's actually the same there. Yeah, look at that. Way. Right, now let's turn that into a centered, let's bring all of the content into like the center there. So this is where I always trip up. I'm going with this one. Yay. Right, that's wonderful. What kind of style would we like for the heading here? So hero heading, first of all, we've got font size. Let's play with that one. And you can also style with your headings with rem, and you should. We'll do another lesson about different units. So pixels, em or rem, those are the ones you really need to know for general sizing and when to use them. But become the piece you want to achieve. That's actually a pretty good size, although you can do decimal points with that, and I think that works better. We can play with color, so let's just make that white at this point, or can we get a light blue? We can. This might not be too terrible. We'll leave it like that for the moment. Okay, now that's not that bad, is it? So we can also do font weight. And by the way, when I'm typing something and what I'm looking for is coming up there, I can just press tab in Feud because we've got Ep8 going. And if you remember, font weight was something like a number like so. Now, for the delicate yoga kind of site, I don't think that's really needed. In fact, if anything, we might want to go thinner if this typeface allows. But okay, cool. Leave it like that. I don't think we need that code. Okay, wonderful. Let's get this a little bit sorted. So this is hero text, and I would like that just to be a little bit bigger. Okay, so 20 pixels. Yep, that's fine. Happy with that. And then maybe, I think for the moment we'll leave that in terms of styling. Wonderful. Book now and find out more. Okay, so these are going to look like buttons, or at least one of them will do. Now, again, we need to actually work on variables and design tokens on one source of truth. And so what we would do there is style out a button and what that looks like, and then we would pretty much bring that into link primary or something along those lines. But we're going to do manual styling on the selectors here. So let's do that. We're on hero link primary at this point. Do we want them to both have the look of a button? And then we change the colors and the borders of that. So do we want them to have padding? Do we want them to both be uppercase, for example? I'm going to think actually, yes, we do. And so their shared values should be in hero link, which is a shared selector. So let's, for the time being, give it a background of blue, just so that we can see what's going on there. Although apparently nothing is going on there. Hero link background blue. Oh, I see why. Whoops. All right, padding. Let's do 1 rem. It's a bit much, so let's do 0.6 rem. Cool. Let's have a border radius on this. So border radius is going to be 12 pixels. Yep, that's quite nice. And you see how we're, styling up the common styles there and applying those on this shared selector. So let's do text transform, uppercase. That's nice. Okay, I think that's going to go as far as shared styles go, although we do need to say border width, or maybe we'll do that separately. We could say border width is at least 1 pixel and then define the color elsewhere. I think actually we're going to handle that on the separate ones. Okay, cool. So hero link primary. First thing I'm going to do is background. I'm going to give this a light blue color. Okay, that's good. And to be honest, that's pretty fine. And border, I'm going to go 1 pixel solid light blue. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want the buttons to look the same, and I want this one to have a border. So we have to give the other one a border, even if it's the same color, just so that the main button isn't 1 pixel smaller, which does make a difference. Then let's pop to the color. I don't know what color we'll use for that, so we'll leave it there for the time being. This one, background, is going to be transparent. You can tell it to be transparent, which is good. But we're going to have border 1 pixel solid light blue. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Just to remove that for a second, you should see, maybe you'd have to look quite closely, but obviously that is 1 pixel smaller. So we add the border there, so it has an equality there. Now I would like this text here to be light blue also. So color equals light blue. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. We don't have a hover effect on there at the moment. That's okay. I think we'll do that later on. This is initial cosmetics. So we've got something coming together quite well there. Let's space them out a little bit though. So what we need to do is go to the parent there. I'm just going to quickly, on hero link, remove that that background. What we would like to do is take the hero link wrapper, and this needs to be a flex box, and we would like to apply a gap to it. It's already default row, but if we do a gap of 2 rem, you see that we now have that space that looks so good. Okay, wonderful. This is pretty good. This is turning out quite nice, isn't it? Right. Okay. So become the piece you want to achieve. That's good. What else do we need? We need to increase the height of that. But first of all, let's introduce an image. Okay, we would like an image for the background. Now this starts to introduce project file management in code editing or in desktop code editing. We need to bring the image into our file. Now, I think we actually did that already. So I'm going to pop along to images there, Yoga Hero image. I think we did Yoga Hero image. That's good. So I've got that already, and now I need to place that as a background here. I've actually been a bit repetitive of myself. So background, we would like this to be URL. Oh, actually, that's in a background image. Shall we place it here? No, let's do it here. Background image, URL. I've forgotten what it is. Be assets, HTML. Right, so assets. Yoga hero image dot webp. I hope I've been a good boy on that. There we are. Right, so let's bring some height to this one. So I would like the height of the hero section to be, I want the fold to be quite big, so maybe we'll do 80 view height, okay, or maybe 100 view height. What have we got here? Whoa, far too big, but let's have a look. Very nice. 500. 550 is a usual for me. That's good. Okay. Background position is center. Background repeat is no repeat. Okay, I think that's looking quite all right. Maybe bottom center is better. I think that's better. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to leave that like that. I would like this to be white and transparent to some degree. Now, I don't want to get into using... I don't really want to go into a pseudo element at this point, so I would just like to have a transparent hex code, really. Now, you can jump to Google for this. I can also jump to GenCSS, which I will introduce to you later on. But what GenCSS has in this which is pretty cool, is a CSS Studio. So instead of going to AI or a browser element or something like that, I can go and make a nice gradient in here, and I would have it be something like that. Oh, I don't really want a picker. I don't know why I clicked that. Although I've just realized I don't really have transparency, which is a bit frustrating. Let's have a look. Okay, so always an improvement. I need to add transparencies there within this color picker. So that will come along in the next update. So then to Gemini, really. Let's pop along to Gemini. Here we go. I would like a background. Oh, something went wrong already. A background color for an overlay div to be white gradient to slightly darker white gradient. Yes, something like that, with transparency. Okay, cool. So it would be like, yep, perfect. Okay. Background linear gradient, that would be fine. Okay, so back to Food Studio here. We need to take the hero inner, and we're going to change that from gray to linear gradient. Beautiful. That's what I had in mind. Okay, wonderful. Right. So I would like a radius on this box, really. So we're going to bring in a border radius, and we'll do 20 pixels. That's cool. Yep, I like that. Now, something we can do is outline 1 pixel solid white. Okay, but then outline offset is something like 10 pixels. I really like this kind of look, maybe a bit less. Just want it to be quite subtle. Yeah, something like that. Okay, cool. I'm pretty happy with how this is going, although obviously the lighter blue isn't really working on that lighter background. So let's change that out. And this is one of the cases where if we were using a global color and saying this hero heading will be color of my primary color, and that value was light blue, then we wouldn't now have to go through everything that's light blue and change it. We could just change the primary color value from light blue to whatever we might decide it would be. So, you know, that's one of the examples where, you know, that really makes a lot of sense. Now, I think that actually looks all right. It certainly does well for, you know, this example. So let's go through. Can you see any light blues? We need to change that out. Oh, that doesn't look very nice for that, but fine. And then we would want the color to be white. Okay, and the same here. We're going to change that and this, and let's never get into that mess again. Okay, right. That's pretty fine. So let's have a look at that. And on, whoop. Oh dear, I've just squished up Feud. There we are. Let's bring that up. Cool. But now let's actually have a look on responsive. Okay, so we will be getting into responsive. Okay, but let's have a quick look at something that we might want to change immediately. This wrapper here, because we're not at the point where we're going into media queries right now, but I would like to show you one. So hero link wrapper, what we're going to do is at media width, let's say 800 pixels, we want to add in a condition, and the condition is going to be flex direction column, so not the default row that's in place. So now if we reduce this, you can oh, well, that hasn't happened at all. Because I'm an idiot, I've done that already. Width equals less than there we go. Okay, right, so that's looking pretty good, isn't it? So at media width less than 800 pixels, we would like flex direction column. If it is obviously more than that, you know, the opposite of that rule, then, oh, I keep doing that, then we would like it to be row. So something else we might want to change is this heading as well on 800 pixels. Maybe we would like that to be text align center. So let's pop along to the, let's do the hero text because we're down there. So at media width less than, or yeah, less than equals 800 pixels. We would like text alignment text align center. Okay, you can see that that is, I mean, that kind of was in place anyway. And we would like that for the heading as well. Where are we? Cool. Okay, so that's a little bit of mobile responsivity brought in there. Something else we might want to do is obviously padding for that box, although you might decide that that's exactly what you would like. But yeah, that's looking pretty nice. So there is a hero section. Okay, created from scratch. We've got 2 buttons. We've got a bit of mobile responsivity, and you know, we've had a look a little bit at how to make that happen, and that nice little transparent effect there. This is obviously essential to keep all of the text readable, which is something a lot of people forget to sort of keep in mind. You need high contrast for accessibility. Even this is a little bit like, is that a bit too fussy? Do we need to have the box a bit more prominent? But that's pretty nice at this point. Okay, right, I think we'll leave it there as something that has been created quite well. That's a nice little hero section. What did yours look like? I would like to see a screenshot of how your hero section turned out. Obviously, it's just V1, so we can always return back to it. And in fact, we will do when we want to start applying some more variables and design tokens. So we'll probably remake this from scratch. It usually turns out to be a bit easier, but this is a nice first construction with what we've learned already. Like I say, coming up, we're going to be covering variables and design tokens and different units of measurement. There is a lot for us to go through, but I think that we're going to continue to do that in a learn by doing kind of fashion. So I will see you in the next video, and don't forget, comment below, feedback, how things are going, or what you're curious about, anything you're stuck with. Do feel free to message me directly also, and that will guide how this course rolls out. But yeah, comment below, like, share, all of that stuff, and don't forget to send me in some of your screenshots. Let me know what results you are getting. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.